Hey everyone, Foxx here. Hello, and welcome to a brand new partwork series. Yes, I know, another one. When do I find the time? Now, unlike other ones, this one is a bit different. It doesn't require any building or painting or construction or following instructions of any kind. My very good friends at Fanhome have brought out a new partwork, and if you want to know who Fanhome are and also what this partwork is, here's a little video. Yes, hello, and welcome to the Star Wars Encyclopedia partwork. Like I said, there's no building involved in this one. It's just pretty pictures and lots of words. Yes, we're going to be having a look at these each month as we get the new issues, and I'll take you through it. And it's going to be weird doing a partwork with no building involved, but awesome. So yes, this is the new Star Wars Encyclopedia collection from my very good friends at Fanhome. Now, quick disclaimer, as always, I'm not ordering this. Fanhome are very kindly sending me this partwork for me to have a look at and show you. So big thank you to the guys at Fanhome. Now, I'll quickly go through this brochure that comes with the first packages, and then we'll have a look at the first two deliveries. So the first 4, 5, 6, I think, issues. I think could be 7. I'll have to look at them. Maths is hard. I don't do numbers. But yes, when you get your first delivery, you get 2 issues and you get this lovely little brochure, which is like an introduction, just explains what you're going to get. It's like the most complete work. Star Wars is famous all over the world for its wealth of stories and characters. These volumes cover the entire chronology of the saga, the most breathtaking locations, the most famous starships, the most lovable droids and charismatic heroes, and the battles that changed the fate of the galaxy. It's all organised. As you can see, there's millions of issues. Each one is a hardback book, and it's going to have a ton of information in each one, and we'll see that in a minute. And it's going to build up to a massive, dirty, great big collection of many batrillions of books. Star, not actually batrillions, and batrillions is not actually a number, disclaimer, so just so you know. But it's going to be basically a massive collection of everything you ever wanted to know from, you know, the earliest starts of the whole Republic and the earliest starts of the galaxy to way up to all the current stuff and everything in between. There's just oodles of it. So it's going to be the most amazing details. You can look at droids and ships and characters and locations and battles and all kinds of goodness. It's going to look at characters and creatures, detailed character studies of the most famous names in the saga: Darth Vader, Captain Phasma, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and many more. Weapons and technology, thermal detonators, Beskar, vibroblades and turbo lasers, plus holocrons, hyperspace travel, force fields and kyber crystals. Galactic Atlas, travel from the core worlds to the outermost edges of the galaxy. Experience the beauty, danger and mystery of the locations that are such a fascinating part of Star Wars. Starships and vehicles. This is the bit that most people will geek out about. Starships and vehicles. Drawings, plans and cross-sections, schematics and details of owners and manufacturers. If you want to know how many different types of TIE fighter the Empire sent into battle, or how many frigates there were in the Rebel fleet, these are definitely the volumes for you. History and events. The complete history of the entire Star Wars saga from the original trilogy to Episode 9, including the prequels and the latest television series. Droids, a gallery of unique anthropomorphic machines. Discover the uses for which they were created, their various characters, appearances and stories. And then you get some gifts as well. If you're a subscriber, you get some beautiful Ralph McQuarrie posters, you get a fantastic big coffee mug for all your coffee or Barry's tea. The teas are available, but if it's not Barry's tea, it's not worth drinking. Needs. And a great set of bookends, 2 stormtroopers to be on either side of your books. So that's the leaflet that gives you the heads up. Let's now have a look at the first few issues that I've got in the first 2 packs. And as if by magic, the first 6 volumes appeared. This is the first and second delivery of 6 volumes. The first delivery you get just the 2, but I didn't want to film as soon as I got the first 2 volumes because that would have been a really short video and not very interesting. So I waited till I got the second delivery. So we've got 6 volumes to look at. Now it's important to know, as you get these each time, each delivery, you'll get a selection of the volumes, but they're not going to be in numerical order. So they're like Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4. You're not going to get them in that order. They're going to be spread out, so you get different things each time. But I like the fact that they very cleverly made the first one the Falcon and Darth Vader, the two big hitters. So they know what they're doing. They give you these two first, and that gets you in. And then, you know, you subscribe so you get all the rest then. So I like that. I like the fact they did these two big hitters first. But anyway, yes, the first 6 volumes, we'll go through really quickly and have a look at these. Now, I'm not going to show you every single page and, you know, highlight everything, because you need to get them yourself to read them. So I'm going to give you a quick flick through, and we'll give you an idea of the kind of thing in each book. And then each time we get a delivery, we'll go through the next 4 volumes. So let's get cracking with these two. And we start, of course, with Darth Vader. Now, this is issue 27. It says on the spine there. Issue 27. Darth Vader. Everybody's favourite villain. Yes, it starts off, each book has this beautiful artwork inside. And as you can see, it's going to be a corny... Oh, it smells nice. Oh, it's not necessarily a new book smell. It's not that kind of new book smell. It's more like a... You know when you go to the shop that sells like woodwork stuff, and it sells like planks, and it's like a shop that sells wood and things like that, planks and wooden furniture, and they sell tools and stuff, and it's all wood based, like woodworking. It smells like a woodwork shop. That's a really nice smell and unusual. I've never smelt a book that smells like that. You get 10 points for the woodwork shop smell, because that gives me fond memories of my school time, which wasn't that much fun, but it was when I was doing woodwork and metalwork. Anyway, I'm waffling. So yes, as you can see, the books are chock full of thousands and millions and billions of photographs. And what they'll do in each volume is it'll go through the history of the character or the ship or the place or whatever it is that volume is about. It's going to go through in great detail. Now, it's going to take into account everything, not just the original trilogy or the modern trilogy or the prequel trilogy, none of that. It's going to take all of it, and it's going to include extra fiction like the comics and other things as well. There's stories in here, and there's one about Vader that I didn't know. Did you know that Vader met Luke before Empire? You didn't know that. I mean, obviously you met him at the Death Star when he blew the Death Star up. Did you know Vader met Luke before he met him again in Empire Strikes Back? I bet you didn't know that. I didn't know that. And I know at least 3 things about Star Wars. So yeah, there's loads of background stuff. It was in comics, I think, and like extracurricular books it mentioned that. But yeah, so lots of different things. And this one's about Vader, so it's going right through his story, his origin story, how he was formed, well, created, I should say, by the Emperor, how he figured in things like Rebels and all the other spin-off TV series. Lots of wonderful photographs. And Rebels of Lothal, it talks about him and his involvement. And you've got there, of course, Ahsoka Tano, which is a pivotal character in Darth Vader's story, especially in the Rebel series. So lots of stuff in there, tons and tons of reading to do. Think of these books like a Warhammer Codex for all of Star Wars, but without the sort of the game stats in the back. You know the bit of the Codex when you get your Codex for Warhammer and you love all the lore and the faction stuff, and if you never play it, you don't really do anything with the data sheets. That's what this is. It's cool stuff for nerds and geeks. I love it. Right, so that's Darth Vader. That's issue 27. Next up is... Yes, next up is issue number 74. The Millennium Falcon. Everyone's favourite starship. Yes, start off, because it's starships, of course, you get pictures in the end piece and the front piece. You've got a nice X-Wing fighter and a TIE fighter. And of course, it's the same thing again. It's going to focus on the history of this specific ship. Everywhere from the original sequel... The original sequel? You're talking rubbish. The original trilogy, all the way up to the latest films. And of course, because this is a vehicle, as it will do with no doubt droids and other things, it's going to go into a lot of technical detail as well. Not just the history of the ship, but it's going to go into like how it was built, what it's made of, what all the different things are. You've got some... That's how a Degeric table works there. You can see quite nicely. The hollow chest table, as they call it. All the consoles and fascia. Now, if you've done things like the partwork Millennium Falcon build, past issue 6, or you've done things like the X-Wing build, you might find a lot of the sort of the same reference diagrams and things in here. I know I've recognised some of the artwork that was in that partwork, but it's lots and lots of information, how it works, how, you know, gyro computers and astronavigation works, all this kind of stuff, how the hull is made. Tons of information. And there was something else I saw, I can't remember what it is. Something else that caught my attention. Where is it? Oh, that's the little... Do you remember when they go out the Falcon in the big space worm? and they're standing on. If you look at that shot in, this is quite funny. If you look at that shot in Empire where they go out down the ramp to find out where the Minocs are, look at the floor very closely. It's got all this mist on the floor, and if you look carefully, you can see that under the mist is just like plastic black sheet, like plastic black bin bag sheet. Because as they walk around, it crinkles, and he's like, "That's a big black plastic tarpaulin under that smoke there." It's quite cheaply done, but brilliant. But that's the mask they wear. So there you go. There's lots of little bits of detail and all this stuff. Which is that? That is the sensor array. How the sensor array works. All the little bits you see in the panels in the back. So again, I'm not going to hover on pages too much because you have to subscribe and get the books to read all the information yourself. One other thing you might have noticed. There's a little bit of a thing on the spine there. As you build up the collection, it's an artwork that goes all the way along the collection, a little bit on each of the spines of the book. So that's kind of cool, so I like that. That's issue 74, the Millennium Falcon. There's more than 6 pages. Next up, we have Imperial Troops, which is volume 35. And you can tell it's Imperial Troops because there's a couple of stormtroopers on the front there. Like and subscribe. And again, it's got helmets in there because it's talking about troops. And we're going to go through all the different types of Imperial forces, not just stormtroopers, which is everybody's favourite, but you've got things like AT-AT pilots, you've got TIE pilots there, you've got the dude that pulls the switch that goes with the pointy chest piece helmet. I like that helmet. Oh, there you go. He's a gunner. It's a gunner. There you go. Gunner uniform. The weirdest helmet. I like that. So it's going to go through all the different Imperial troops, and it's going to show some of their vehicles as well. You've got speeder bikes and ATSTs and AT-ATs. My favourite Imperial uniform, everybody has the Stormtrooper as a favourite, but my favourite over Stormtroopers, speeder bike riders, because the helmet is mint. I just love the visor. It's a mint uniform. Absolutely brilliant. You may start your landings now, Lord Vader. The shield will be down momentarily. You may start your landings. These kind of books are going to be a boon because there's going to be so many pictures of things like outfits, uniforms, vehicles, lots and lots of reference photographs for you to, base your painting and building on. So there we go. That is issue 35. Is it 35? Yes, 35. Imperial Troops. Next up we have volume 47, the Saga of Rey, more of the characters and creatures volume. And this one, you can probably figure out, is going through the backstory and sort of history of Rey Skywalker. Right from the beginning when she first appears, right up to the end of the last sequel film. It doesn't just talk about Rey, it goes into lots of detail about the time she was living in and what's happening with the First Order and all the ancillary characters around her and her time in the Skywalker saga. Now, I know some people get blurpy when they think about the Skywalker saga and the last 3 films, but you know what? It's fun story time. It's all just fun story time. Any fun story with the flying and the shooting and the spaceships and the monsters and the rah and you let him win the game and all that kind of... It's all just good fun. It's all fun. So, yeah. So anyway, yes, lots of lovely information on Finn and Poe Dameron. I tell you what, I do love that thing. That's got a certain... It reminds me of something, but I can't think. Well, I'm thinking vintage 1970s comic called Heavy Metal, Metal Hurlant. And there was a character who had a face just like that. And there was a character in... It's bizarre, there was a character in Rebels, a side character, a little sort of bounty hunter type, who had a very similar head as well, which also looked like something from Heavy Metal. I wonder if it was a throwback. I don't know. Anyway, yes, lots of information on Rey, BB-8, Finn, Poe, and all the sort of ancillary characters, but mostly, obviously, it's going to focus on Rey, because it's about her particular saga, right from the start, right up to the end. So that is volume 47, The Saga of Rey. Next, we have volume 60, which is the first of the Galactic Atlas volumes, and this is looking at Naboo, the setting in those 3 films that were never made. Everything that I just said in the last section, yeah, these films didn't exist, but I'm only joking, of course. I didn't like the prequel films, but I adored the Clone Wars animated series, so that's valid. I get away with it that way. But yes, anyway, this book is looking at Naboo, and history, its geography, it looks at the things that happen there, the politics, all the stuff that's going on. There's tons of stuff here, and again, it's just going to be full of all the background information, the lore, the characters and the ancillary characters, members of the Advisory Council. It's not just full of pictures of Jar Jar Binks. Oh, thankfully. And of course, don't forget you've got things like Rebels, and Clone Wars characters from those. It's not just the prequel films. And I have to say, I get really like blurpy when people talk about Jar Jar Binks. But I have to say, the Gungans, I like the Gungans. I like the design of them. It's just Jar Jar Binks' character just needs to be deleted from the entire minds of everybody, really. But lots of lovely information. Again, beautiful photographs. Lots of reference materials, as always, if you're a painter or making models. Lots of wonderful reference shots and things. Making dioramas and you want to do a diorama on Naboo, there you go, lots of reference images. So there you go, that is the Book of Naboo, the background of Naboo and the history and politics. That was volume 60, and we've got one left, everybody's favourite droid. And last but by no means least in these first two deliveries is volume 56, which is the first of the droids books, and it's R2-D2, and of course it's everyone's favourite droid. If you don't like R2-D2, what kind of cold-hearted monster are you? It takes all of R2's story, right from the original films all the way through to the sequel films and everything in between. Again, him and his interactions with the characters, where he came from, all the things he did, all the heroic things he did. Now, again, it's not just looking at the films, it's looking at the Clone Wars animated series and Rebels and all the other bits and bobs and the expanded universe fiction and stuff like that. And there's lots of information in here. If you've never watched, I have to say, by the way, I know I ragged on the Clone Wars movies a minute ago, but if you've never watched the Clone Wars animated series, I cannot recommend it enough. Because, like I said, I hate the prequel series. I can't stand the prequel films. They don't exist to me. But the Clone Wars animated series, absolute genius. Absolute genius. The whole thing, just, if you like Rebels, Clone Wars is even better. Go and watch it. Just do yourself a favour. Put it this way. It was so good, it actually made me like Jar Jar Binks. I know. But they did Jar Jar Binks in a way that made him less like I wanted to, just throw him down a pit. It made him likeable. So, yeah, you have to go and watch the Clone Wars series. But anyway, I digress. Yes, lots of information about R2. Again, lots of wonderful photos. If you're one of those people that wants to make a model of R2, or if you're building an R2 yourself, lots of reference shots in here. Close up, clean and dirty for weathering or not. The choice is up to you. And that is, therefore, volume 56, R2-D2. And that's the last of the volumes we've had so far. And there we have it, the first 6 volumes of what I think is going to end up being an enormous and massive and fantastic collection of books and information. It's been a great encyclopedia. Now, a quick confession, this is about the 7th take of this bit that I've done, because apart from the fact I'm an enormous Star Wars nerd, I'm sure you're a Star Wars nerd too if you're watching this video, I'm also a massive Star Trek nerd and a Stargate nerd. And this is a problem because every time I do this particular sequence, at some point I will say Star Trek or Stargate instead of Star Wars, and I keep having to stop and restart. Don't be like Fox. If you want to like a franchise, like one of them that has a similar. Don't like all 3 of them. Oh, it's a nightmare. So if I do it again now, if I say Star Trek again now, I'm just going to bleep it out and dub Star Wars. So forgive me if I get a real obvious dub at some point in the next 2 or 3 minutes. It's been a long time since I've done a live recording and I'm a bit out of practice. So yes, this is going to be a fantastic collection. If you are, like me, a Star Wars nerd, I had to look at the book then. I had to look at the Star Wars, not Star Trek. God, I'm so rubbish. Yes, if you are a massive Star Wars nerd like me, then you're going to want to seriously think about getting this. It's going to be, let's be honest, it's going to be a long thing. And I don't mean long like take a long time. I mean long like it's going to be about 6 foot long on your shelf. Because there's going to be a lot of volumes. So it's going to contain more information than you've ever wanted to know about Star Wars. I nearly said Star Trek again. Oh man, I need more coffee. It's going to contain everything you ever wanted to know about Star Wars. And I would suspect at some point, I wouldn't be surprised, I don't know this, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a page on the guy carrying the ice cream machine. Or a page about the skull in the Rancor pit, which, did you know, that skull in the Rancor pit in Jedi under Jabba's palace, there's actually a character for that skull and a whole backstory, and he was even in a comic, and he was a bounty hunter, I think. I can't remember his name now, but there's a whole character just to that skull that Luke throws at the... Star Wars is insane! Star Wars is madness, and I love it to bits. So yeah, if you're a big Star Wars nerd like me, then consider getting this. If you want to subscribe to this partwork, just pop along to fanhome.com. There is a link in the description below this video where you can go and become a subscriber to this partwork. Again, I do have to give a massive shout out and a big thank you to the guys at Fanhome for providing me with this partwork. Each time I get a new delivery of 4 volumes, I'll be coming along again and showing you what you get. But go along and have a look and see if you want to subscribe to this, and take a look at all their other partworks as well, because they've got some good stuff over there. I will be this week filming more of my Iron Man and Dodge Charger partwork, so keep your eyes open for those. Until then, though, I should just say thank you for watching. Don't forget, of course, if you'd like to support this channel and keep this channel alive, because I do this for my job, then you can become a patron or a channel member. You can either go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru, become a patron, or you can just press the join button underneath any one of my videos and become a channel member. Either way, you're supporting the channel directly, you're helping to literally pay my bills and put food on my table, and you are getting access to lots of cool stuff, including the 24/7 Zoom hangout, video hangout for those who are members and patrons, and also a Facebook chat group for those people as well. So have a think about it and see if you'd like to help support this channel. Until then, again, massive thank you to you for watching. Big massive thank you to the guys at Fanhome for making this possible. And I shall say, adios amoebas. Can't believe I kept saying Star Wars, Star Trek. And I can't even say Star Trek without saying Star Wars. I'm going home. Oh, it's been a long day. It's been a long day.